welcome back to my channel. Today's something a little bit different. I'm going to give you an honest review on our new Kubota KX060-5. Now before we had the older model, what was a KX057-4. We had two of them. It was time to change it in, so we went for the newer model. They're actually only in the UK just now. They've not quite hit America. I spent most of my time in the 057-4 when I was learning, and I loved it. It was a great little machine, and I honestly thought it was going to be hard to beat with the new model. However, there has been some improvements, and I'm going to go through them. So let's get into it. First of all, I'm going to start with the key. Kubota has got an anti-theft built into this key itself. It's in here somewhere. So you can't actually start this machine without this key, which is fab because, you know, if you've got like other brands, you can just take any key or a screwdriver basically and put it in and start it. So you need this key, which is good unless you forget the key at work and you have to travel 2 hours back to get it. If you have to reset it, you get the same key like this in red, and you have to put it in to reset it to put another key in. So you don't want to be losing these, and certainly do not want to lose the red one as it's all coded. Most little machines now are starting to go this way by getting a built-in pumping system for refueling. Here's the 60s in here. Now the 57 did in fact have the exactly same one in the exactly same place. It's so neat, you can see the hose ravels away, it's there for fueling up if you don't need the hose. There's a stop-start button. They are dead simple, easy, practical. It's so much better than trying to lift a drum up and fill it in. That's probably one of the key factors what I love about this Kubota. I love that it's so compact and hidden. You can't see it there. One thing you do have to remember though is to take the key out of there. I done it before in the 57 and so did our other operator. Look at this if you open the door. It's going to push it and potentially snap the key in two. Yes, we did bend ours. Thankfully it didn't snap and we managed to bend it back because, like I was saying previously, these keys, you do not want to lose them. So that's the first feature. Let's see what's next. If you're familiar with your Kubotas, you might notice that the colour has slightly changed since it's 57. The 57 used to have more orange on it. It would go down to here. There's a lot more dark blue, black, whatever you want to call it on this, and I really love it. I feel like it's a more modern look. I just think it's an upgrade with the upgrade of the machine. Love the touch on it. And if you remember the Kubotas from way back, they would be white and orange. There's still plenty of them floating about because we all know Kubotas are bomb-proof. This machine has a Stage V Kubota 4-cylinder diesel engine. What I love it is how compact it is. Beam-in machines obviously is going to be compact, but what I love about it is how easy access everything are. We've got a diesel filter here, we've got the oil filter here, the coolant here, the dipstick just to hand to check, you do your morning checks. To refill the oil also is, the engine oil is right there. You can see all this is DPF for the regen, again dead simple. The last thing you want to be doing in any machine, but it's more likely to happen in a Mini because they are compact, is having to go away down here to check for oil or trying to change a filter and you've got to fiddle. Like it's literally just here, it's all right where it should be. You might notice the pads that we have on are in fact steel, which is not common at all in mini diggers. These are 500s, so they are wide for the machine as well. The reason we have them, as you can probably see in the background, we are in the west coast of Scotland, Argyll, the hills are wet, it's peat, it's rubbish, it's soft. And this machine, I cannot express how good a machine it is for a wet hill with them steel tracks on. It literally floats across the ground, no bother whatsoever. And I mean, we have put it to test. When I first started working with Dad, it was a 57 then, brand new machine, away up the hill with the steel tracks. It was pure peat. There's a few sketchy moments, but it did not let us down. So it was obvious just to get the same again on the 60 with the steel pads. Let's keep on moving round. In here is where all the hydraulics are. Again, everything's easy to see. Your air filter is in here. Again, very easy to access. Then you've got all your hoses, battery, screen wash. I just can't really explain how close everything is here. It's just all to hand. The hydraulic oil, you can see it here as well. Obviously it's looking low right there, but of course you have to put the arm, like any machine, to the correct position to check it. Looking at the operator's manual, of course, to see what that position may be. In here there is a wee toolbox. I mean, it's handy for keeping certain tools. The 57 did also have this, but if I'm going to be honest, everything would get soaked in it. And I'm not too sure why, because there is a lip over it, but the water was getting in somewhere. So so far we haven't used it for anything. But that's nothing to worry about. The counterweight on this machine as well is basically flush. It is still the same weight, it's just added differently compared to the 57. That's what we want. The places we go, you're not wanting a big tail swing, a big counterweight sticking out the back. One thing that is a lot better from the 57 to the 60 is the paintwork. Now we had two 57s and they faded, the ballast weight started to bubble and the paint started to chip. And I mean, we had the second 57 only a few months and it was starting to go like in the sockets and stuff. We've had this 7 months and so far there's no sign of that, which is obviously something that they've improved from the last model. There really is nothing worse than seeing a machine a couple years old and it should be like this and it's like pale orange. It just doesn't look so good. Moving on to the blade. The 57 did have a blade, yes, but this machine has a floating blade. Now how you work that is you jump in the cab, you push it right forward and then you track backwards. If you're going over an area, it will just float. It does what it says in the tin. It floats with you, making it a lot easier to level it all out. However, I wouldn't do it if you're using big volumes and stuff because it will not be good. It's not a dozer. Yes, it's a dozer blade for moving little stuff, but if you're pulling stuff back the way, it's going to put a lot of strain and pressure on your tracks. But however, I have used it and I do like it. You can also just use it manually, which I really prefer, because sometimes you want your materials a little bit thicker in some places and a little bit thinner or whatever, but it is nice to have that option and it is there if you need it. I just kind of wish that we could get a wee tilt on it as well, because that would make it so much easier when you're doing roads to get that shape. So hopefully that might be in their next model, you never know. This model comes with 2 auxiliary circuits as standard. You can control the flow and you can set the program to what attachment you've got on inside the cab, which is really good, so it's saved every time you jump back in. You just have to hit whether you have a grab on, any attachment basically, what you need the 2 circuits for. We'd probably use it for the grab because you need the swirl and the claw as well. However, there is one little that I don't like about that, and I'll show you once we get into the cab. It's very minor, but it is very annoying. This machine also comes with tie-down anchor points, which is great for machines. I know when we shift them ourselves that you're looking for somewhere to get them onto. Over the blade is always quite an easy one, but then you're trying to get in underneath a mini machine is really hard, or through the tracks, or onto the like on not the actual tracks themselves, of course, the undercarriage. But having the 4 points there is easy. So there's 2 at the front and there's 2 at the rear, which makes life a lot simpler. The 57 also had this little hatch here. You lift it up and that's where you can drain your diesel. It's just a little thing you turn. Obviously I'm not going to do it now and make a complete mess, but you twist that wee lock there. Again, very simple to get to. You're not crawling under an engine. You're not crawling under the machine, the undercarriage or anything, or having to take plates off underneath. You just have to slow down, put a old drum or something to catch all the excess oil. Very handy also if you think there might be water or dirt into your diesel, which I shouldn't get through the filters, but if it does, we've had problems with it before, not in the Kubota. It's good practice with condensation even in the tank, just like some water, just to open it and let it drain itself for 2 seconds, and anything that shouldn't be in there will come out there. So yeah, another tip which is really good for is we use diesel for, well, maybe not now in this day and age because the price of fuel has went through the roof and there's cheaper alternatives now. But if we were going to clean machines to degrease it, we would use diesel or a diesel based product. So it's always handy just to put a rag under there, put a bit of diesel on it and give your machine a clean. To to be honest, that's probably what I would use it most for in the 57. Grazing wise, it is a small machine, it's easy to get all the points, they're very obvious at where they are, so none can be missed as well. In my other videos, you'll probably see I am quite guilty for keeping the grease gun in the cab. The reason I do that is so it forces me to get out and grease it. If it was in my pickup, I wouldn't be walking back to get it if I forgot it. But the 60 has brought out a new feature, which is really good. Not that there is any room in down the side here for the grease gun, but this makes everything a lot cleaner instead of having the grease gun in the cab, and it's still right to hand. They fitted a compartment just for the grease gun and with the hold to keep it up as well, so there's no grease going really anywhere. If there is, there's going to be a wee dot there. Battery grease gun would probably not fit in there, but that suits me because we don't use battery grease guns anyway. It's all these little changes like that that actually make a change. It's so nice, Kubota taking these little things what we get feedback over the years of different models and taking them forward to making the operator's life a little bit more simpler and easier. Well, the door's open, let's get into the cab. I obviously wasn't in this last cause look at the leg room I've got. It is a 6-ton machine, but it does have the cab for the 8-ton on it. Of course, it's got the air seat in it as well, which makes operators' life more comfortable. The vision in it is next to none. It's a massive improvement from the 57, and I think that might be why they've got more glass and these bits are smaller. So you can see every corner. You're not missing anything. It's also got the sunlight roof as well, and it's got gas assisted ramps to get your window up with ease. And if you've been watching my videos, you know I do struggle with that sometimes when I don't keep them maintained. Easy. This machine does come with aircon, which is powerful, which is good, because there's been lots of glass, it does get like a greenhouse in here. That's how I explain it. Right now it is roasting and I am in Scotland, so you always need a bit of aircon. Like any machine nowadays, you've got your radio, your heating, your aircon, your revs, then you'll have your wiper, your horns. It's got a alarm for the weight limit when you're lifting stuff, which is also good. It also comes with a fully adjustable seat. If you want to go down, pull the front bit forward, that's for your controls, or if you want to move the whole seat forward, that's more like it for me with my wee short legs. So it's good it does have that option for every operator's preference. Another great feature is how quiet it is. I do find with the 080 it is very loud inside the cab. I feel like you're sitting higher up on the engine in this, whereas with the 080 it's sitting right there. The 57 was quiet, but not as quiet as this machine. You basically can't hear anything when you're in here and the windows or doors are closed, especially with the fans on. Which is nice because if you're in a machine all day, like I do struggle with the 8-ton sometimes, when there's a constant whine coming from the engine, which isn't ideal. This cab is miles, and I say miles ahead of the Dash 4s. It really, really is. I feel like it's what Kubota needed. They were kind of behind in times, and I get that because a lot of people who buy Kubotas like them because they're basic and they're easy to use. However, I did feel that they were slacking in that a little bit, moving with times and making it look a little bit more modern, a little bit easier. We've got a lovely new 7-inch screen here, and it's all in colour, which is nice because, as I said, it's moving with times and they never had that before. What I was saying about the auxiliary though, when you jump into the machine and you're going to put an auxiliary on, all you do is hit this button here and you'll see it changes. You set them all in here. There's a bucket and there is for the tilting bucket. That's actually for a grab, but that's what Dad's got it set to have the tilting bucket on. However, this is the bit which is annoying, and it done it with the 57 and I thought there might have been a little upgrade with it, but there's not. But maybe the next model. So if you've got your auxiliary on, it'll show you there that it is the tilting bucket. That is on. As soon as you lift the dead man, it shoots straight back to your bucket. And I don't know why this is, because I can't think of any safety feature or why this would actually happen. For the work we do get in and out the cab a lot. If we're installing pipes, services, jumping between the dumpers, because we do it all ourselves. When you jump back into the machine, every single time, you've got to put that back down and put it back on again. And I know you are probably thinking, that's no big deal, she's just hitting a bucket there. But you don't want to be thinking about that. You want to just be jumping back in and leaving off of where you were last time. They have done something though, because they put it on there, whereas before it was on the screen. So every time you jump into the 57, the 088 is the same. Because I've got the rotor tilt in that, you don't have to do it, obviously. But if I didn't have the rotor tilt, you'd have to jump back in and press the button down here every single time you jump back in the machine, which would not be bothering me if I was doing it twice a day. But if you're in and out 20 times in an hour, it does get annoying too. That's only with 2 saved. If you had 3 or 4 saved, every time you get back in. Imagine listening to that all day. I'm sure you could probably turn that off on the computer. So yeah, you just go into your manual here. You'll get messages if you've got everything periodic check, hours. We've got 116 hours on it. So this is where you put your aux settings. That beeping does my head in. So there you go, your flow volume settings. And you can change them all there. I'm not going to touch them because Dad and Arthur have it set up how they want. But basically just go down. I could probably just do the breaker because that's not on. And then you just click which one you want. So say you want it to flow up, how fast or slow you want it. I better turn that back down actually. And yeah, you just do that. So it's very, very simple. And you can change it exactly how you want it. And then to save it, you just go down and hit save. And that's you saved it. There we are. And it'll tell us the fuel, the temperature, just the basics really, but it's nice having a little bit more modern. We've got a 12 volt socket here as well, which is a handy place to actually have it for charging your phone or whatever else you may use it for. Since I've started, I did start in a Kubota, and I've been in Kubotas through my whole working career. They've never, ever, ever given us any bother. They are really bulletproof. They're reliable, they'll start every day, they'll work away, they're smooth, they're comfy. They have done the upgrade now in the interior, in the cab, made it spacious, put the air seat in, more comfort. Lights, like all these little things do make a huge difference. But as far as Kubota stand, they are bulletproof. I can't wait to use this machine a little bit more and put it to test more, but I know it probably will not let us down. I have so much faith in this machine. For the size of them, they can move a lot of stuff as well, which is ideal. That's what you want. I hope you enjoyed and learned something from the review of the KX060-5 and the comparing it to the KX057-4. I hope I've helped in some way. Hope you learned some new things. And yeah, apart from the few niggly things I mentioned, it's a fab machine. As always, thank you so much for the support, the comments, the likes, subscription. Let me know if this is something you want to see. If you want to see more machine reviews, I'll only do them if I'm in them, driving them and testing them. I will not review a machine that I'm not comfortable with because that would just be fake. It needs to be tried and tested by the digger girl. Thanks guys.